Welcome to the podcast, where once again we celebrate the spookiness of Halloween for our annual Halloween special. Today's episode, Phobia Pokemon. Once again, Halloween graces us, and as has become tradition here at the podcast, we do a Halloween special where we take an aspect of something spooky, something sinister, and we apply our ideas to Pokemon and how they could relate to the Pokemon world. Today's episode is brought to us by Chase, the podcast, not the bank, who came up with this idea. So I'm going to kick it to him and let him take the lead.
Okay, well, firstly, I can be your bank if you want me to. Have my bank details pinned down below, so if you want to send me money, I'll keep it safe. Definitely won't use it. Hint, hint, wink, wink. But phobias, we all have them. Mainly, and for some people, they might be stronger than others. Some might be a fear, doesn't really affect them in their day-to-day. Some might cause crippling anxiety for people where if they see this thing, they might hyperventilate, overcome with an overwhelming sense of anxiety, not be able to move, etc. For this, I thought maybe an interesting concept for this Halloween video would be based on phobias. Moving away from your sort of general Halloween-y theme, so instead of just doing like a ghost type Pokemon or something undead or something linked to the sort of darker sides of folklore, I thought phobias would be a good idea. So I think I'll kick things off. The phobias I chose to base my fake one off of are actually a combination of two, because I think they do work quite well together. The first phobia is thanatophobia, and the second phobia is ornithophobia. Thanatophobia is the fear of death, and ornithophobia is the fear of birds. So what I came up with was essentially I locked the Grim Reaper and the Crow up in a room with no windows so that they could get well acquainted with each other. And the Grim Reaper decided to spit this little hairy creature out, and I have dubbed him Tartacrow. So Tartarus is the Greek underworld, and obviously Crow because people associate them with, if I'm correct, bad luck and bad omens, etc.
Actually, that looks amazing. I do love the look on that is pretty gnarly. I have to appreciate it, and I can actually see an evolution to this particular build as being the Plague Doctor, because it's already got that partial look to it, but like the Plague Doctor combined with maybe something with aspects of the Grim Reaper continuing, so it would have the hood still, but it would just be much bigger, bulkier, wouldn't be flying, but maybe the wings would look like scythes, almost like Scyther.
Oh yeah, that is a good idea. So basically what I did is I took something very, very Halloween-y, which are jack-o'-lanterns. Face looks reminiscent of jack-o'-lanterns. It actually has two mouths, because if you look on the beak, there's a bit of a split.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea was to sort of give a plague doctor type vibe as well with the nose. And what the beak is used for is to suck people's souls out. You know, as the Grim Reaper does, obviously reap souls and put them where they're supposed to be.
I like this. I really do. And it definitely fits in the Pokemon world when you think about it. It's definitely like that kind of dark typing. Like I would definitely go with dark flying with this one. I don't know if I would go with dark ghost, but maybe the ability would be something similar to a ghost typing. Like, oh god, what is that? The one Pokemon that is a grass, like I think it's like a grass ghost type with steel worker.
Yeah, so my initial idea for typing was actually flying for obvious reasons. It's a bird, so it has to be able to fly. And fairy, because, you know, if you look at all, like, the original folklore tales about fairies, fairies are actually very sinister and cunning and such, and not anything like how, we'll take Disney, for example, like how Disney portrays them, or how they portrayed within the Pokemon franchise itself, because they portrayed as very, like, lovable, friendly, playful creatures.
That is such a juxtaposition, and I love it. I absolutely love the idea. I love the concept behind it. I love the typing. That just really throws you for a loop because you see it, and we're so trained when it comes to Pokemon that if it looks a certain way, it has to be a certain type. So you going total left field, I think, is brilliant, and I like it. I'd say go with it.
Yeah, and I went full on geek mode in this and did a bit of research into what fairies were originally were and what their origins were. That's what I came up with. That's Tartacrow, my special boy, but just be careful when you're walking around at night. You don't want to meet him in a dark alley. Draco, let's see what you cooked up. I'm quite interested in this.
I'm always fascinated by different things in life, and I have this weird fixation when it comes to images of trypophobia. It's one of those things that is unnerving, yet for me, there's also this weird fascination as well. So it's like I can't look away, even though I do to some level find it visually disturbing. And so what if we had a psychic poison type Pokemon that was effectively showing this to you? Because it's both, I guess part of it was because of the fact that some people kind of associate this kind of visual thing to like maybe some kind of a disease or an infection, which is why the poison comes into play. And there's something just so psychological about this phenomenon that would lend to the psychic side. And so what if there was a Pokemon that was like that, kind of thinking along the lines of Reuniclus, where it's a Pokemon inside of a shell, but there's just holes all over it and even on it. So it's just this constant unnerving stare at you while it's battling.
That, I'm not gonna lie, that thing looks creepily cute.
It's got that dead stare at you. So it's like, and it's something to unnerve you to your soul.
That is actually quite cool. I do really dig the concept. And yeah, you're right with that deadpan expression. In general, I find that deadpan look very, very creepy and unnerving. Sometimes a little bit frustrating, but yeah, it all just fits together really well.
It's like, even if you don't have this phobia, there's just something about it that you just kind of feel it, that there's just something not right. Something looks off. And I think this is probably one of the best ways to put this concept in a Pokemon form.
It's, you know what it reminds me of? A couple of years ago, when trypophobia was like a big thing on the internet, people started saying that products by the brand Garnier actually gave you this like skin disease, and it would show like the back of hands and various body parts and stuff. And it had the holes and stuff in it. And this gives off like a similar vibe. So like if you touch it or any of that purple stuff gets on you, that might be what happens. You just turn into a walking human-shaped block of Swiss cheese.
But I think I would call this one Hexhole.
I like that. At first, I thought, it also does look a little bit like an axolotl. So I thought maybe the name you would have chosen could have been something along the lines of Hexholelotl.
Hexholotl. I actually like that. Hexholotl. I'm down for that one. I like that. I will now dub this Hexholotl.
Pikachu looks a bit confused. And what is this thing?
He looks somewhat disturbed.
If not friend, why friend shake?
Signature move, Mind Mire. Creates an illusion of endless holes, causing confusion and a chance to poison the opponent.
That is ridiculous.
That's what
Not kind of wants the enemy. Why is Copilot more creative than Pokemon, the current Pokemon devs?
Right? That's a great move. It can confuse and possibly poison.
Bouncy, bounce, zippy, zap. No, thank you. I want Mind Mire.
Mind Mire. Yeah, that's a good one. And with that brings our traditional Halloween episode to a close. What are your thoughts about our two Pokemon designs that we've come up with? What kind of phobias would you like to see turned into a Pokemon? Let us know down below. Also, be sure to share, like, subscribe. Let us know how we're doing. And as always, have a wonderful day. Bye.
Don't forget to eat as much candy as you can on Halloween. It is a mandatory order on the podcast. Cheers, everyone.